Hi, this is Ceema and I'm back with a new lesson on compound words. Well, compound words, what are they? Words formed when you take two separate words with totally different meanings and make them one word. That is what a compound word is. So for example, you have words like, notebook, note is one word and book is another word, and both these words have different meanings, right? But when you combine the two words, it gives you a word called notebook, meaning a book in which you write. But as you can see, words like notebook or, for example, say dishwasher, they are very easily understandable compound words because you can kind of understand the meaning of the compound word when you look at both the words that are being joined. But there are some words which are very difficult to understand the meaning of, because the meaning of both these words kind of don't relate, and therefore you kind of wonder what it means. So we're going to look at those kind of compound words which are quite difficult to understand because the words which are joined to form one word have quite different meanings. Okay, the first one is brainstorm. Well, brain is, the gray matter in your head, and well, storm is, like a big storm, with lots of wind and air blowing. But, if you kind of combine both these words, you're kind of wondering what the meaning is, right? But brainstorm is one word which means, or which refers to the process of, an intense process of thinking of different ideas and combining a lot of ideas and getting one idea out of the many ideas that have been generated. So for example, you are in a meeting, okay, and you are deciding to get the best slogan for, a product that you are going to advertise, okay? So there are 10 people, okay, in that conference, and everyone comes up with an idea. So the intense process of getting idea number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then getting all these ideas together to form one single idea is what the process of brainstorming is all about, okay? So the word brainstorm is quite deceiving because it does not really give you a clear idea of what the meaning may be, right? Similarly, you have another word called scapegoat. Okay, we all know what a goat is, but what is a scapegoat? A scapegoat is a person on whom the entire blame falls. So something goes wrong, okay? There are 10 people involved, but there is one person on whom the entire blame falls, and that person is called the scapegoat. The reason why this word was evolved is perhaps because in the Bible, the goat is an animal who is left to go out in the wild after, placing all the sins on the goat. So it's a ritual that was formed in the old Jewish times wherein they kind of, put the sins on the goat and let the goat go out into the wild to die. So that's where the word scapegoat comes out of, okay? And the next one is aftermath, okay? Now this word kind of makes you wonder, is it something you do after a math test? And no, that's not what it means. It basically means the results or the effects after an event. So that's what aftermath means. So maybe there was an event, for example, say there was a big storm. So the results or the effects after the storm is what the aftermath of a storm means. So you can say that the aftermath of the storm was quite a big problem because people were hungry, people had no food for many days, there was no electricity. So aftermath is the results that follow after a particular event. It could be good or it could be bad. Okay, and the next one is to backfire. Okay, this is a very common word, right? Backfire basically means to get the opposite results of what was actually intended. Okay, so just imagine you are, shooting someone with a gun, but if the bullet comes back at you, that's called backfiring, right? So you intended for the bullet to go and, kill somebody else, but it kills you instead. That's not a very good thing, right? So that's what backfiring is, because when something backfires, the result always tends to be opposite of what was actually intended. So you can say something like, the advertisement that was produced backfired, which means that the advertisement was probably meant to increase the sales of a product, but because it had a negative message somewhere, it decreased the sales, or it caused a lot of problems for the company. So the entire, program backfired. Okay, and the next one is daredevil. Okay, we all know what a devil is, and we know what it means to be very daring, right? But a daredevil basically means a person who is bold in a reckless, and sometimes you can say a very dangerous kind of way. So you can say something like, I never sit with Timothy in the car. He is a daredevil. So he is really bold when it comes to driving a car. He could go maybe at 130 kilometers per hour and really risk the lives of the people sitting in the car with him. So he is a daredevil because he is bold in a very reckless and a very dangerous sort of way. Okay, and the next one is frostbite. Okay, we all know what a bite is, right? When you get bitten by something. But when you're talking about the word frost, you're talking about something related to ice, right? So frostbite is basically a condition that you go through when you are exposed to intense cold. So those people living in really cold parts of the world, not where I'm living, okay, they sometimes undergo a condition called as a frostbite. So maybe your fingers or your hands, they turn blue because of overexposure to lots of cold. Okay, sometimes the condition can get so bad that you may have to amputate your feet or any part of your body which has been exposed to cold, resulting in a frostbite. That's a medical condition or a medical term. And the next one is ironclad. The word clad means to be fully clothed or covered, and iron is a very well-known metal, we all know. But when you join the two words together, it can mean two different things, okay? So I can say that the machinery was ironclad. So you have a machine, it's clothed in iron, which means it's made up completely of iron. That's one of the meanings. That's one of the very obvious meanings. But if I want to talk about a very inobvious meaning for this compound word, I can talk about something or rules which are very hard to break or which can't be broken. So you can say that the university has a dean or a principal who have designed very ironclad rules, which means you can't get by. There are no loopholes to the rules. They are rules which can't be broken. You just can't get past them. You just can't get through them. So ironclad refers to something very, very strong, which won't allow you to penetrate. Okay? And we have another set of compound words. The next one is light-hearted. Okay? If you have a heart which is light, the word light-hearted means that you are very happy and you are very stress-free. When you come to know that you are going for a vacation, you are light-hearted. When you come to know that you have received a new gift or a new present, you are very lighthearted, which means you are very happy, or you are in the condition of being extremely stress-free. Okay. The next one is a milestone. Okay. We all know what a stone is, and we know what a mile is, right? It is the distance that you cover. Okay. But a milestone basically means that it talks about the points in the progress that you are making. So maybe I am trying to lose weight, okay? So I cover a milestone every time I lose more and more weight, right? So if I've started exercising for say 2 weeks and I've lost maybe say 2 kgs, I've covered a certain milestone. So I've covered a point in the progress of losing weight, right? So a milestone is a mark or a point in your route or in your way of losing or making some kind of progress depending on what you are trying to do. Okay, it could be any endeavor, losing weight, speaking good English. Every time you cover some important thing or some important step, you are covering a separate milestone in that part of your endeavor. Okay, and the next one is outlaw. We know what law is. Someone who, when you have rules and regulations that are formed by the legal system, that's what the law is about, right? But if you are outside the law, that's a problem, right? So an outlaw is basically a person who is running away from the law. These people are also called as convicts who have run away. So maybe, the police are in search of a person who has committed a lot of crimes, maybe murders or rapes or, robberies and thefts and things like that. But that person is not yet in jail because he's been running away from the law for a long time. He's not been caught. That person is called an outlaw. Okay. The next one is to panhandle. This word, pan, refers to, the utensil in which you make food, right? And handle is basically to, hold or, to handle with your hand, okay? But this word panhandle basically means to approach or beg for food or money. Now, a lot of people on the roads, they are known to panhandle for food or money. So this word panhandle comes from the fact that they normally have a pan which they use to ask for money, for handouts or for food. Okay, that's where this word comes from. Okay, so these two words have different meanings, but together it is known as the way of approaching or begging for money or food. Okay. The next one is wholesale. Okay, we all know what a sale is when you are selling goods, but when you are talking about a wholesale refers to selling goods in very huge quantities. And if you buy goods on a wholesale, you might get very good discounted prices because goods are sold in higher quantity as compared to goods sold in lesser quantities, right? So that's what a wholesale is, okay? That people normally go for wholesale buys to save their money because they get good discounts, right? And the next and the last compound word is an eyeball. We have an eye, and a ball is basically a ball, like a round a thing with a round surface, right? But eyeball is, it literally means this part of my eye, okay, outside the cornea, okay? But eyeball basically means to eye someone in an awkward or a very lustful way. So there is this really creepy looking guy who eyeballs you every time, you know, you pass the corridor, right? Because he's staring at you, he's looking at you in a very creepy way, in a very strange sort of way, or maybe in a very lustful way. So that's what eyeball means, okay? Well, these are the expressions or the words which are called compound words because we've, you know, gotten a word by combining two words with totally different meanings. I hope you found it interesting and very informative. I'll be back with some more lessons. Until then, this is me saying goodbye.